Hello, it's me, Strong Earth Creations, and in today's video I will be showing you how to make a crochet book sleeve. I think these are pretty easy for beginners to make. I show you how to do the entire base, and you can make a pocket however you would like. As you can see, I've made two different versions here. This is just a chain with straight stitches up to make a square, and this is a solid granny square. This is the book sleeve that I make in the video, and I don't show you in-depth steps on how to make the pocket, but I will write the instructions on the screen just in case you do want to make a solid granny square for your pocket as well. But yeah, I think these are super versatile. You can adjust them to match any size book that you would like, and I love making the colors match the book that I'm currently reading. I love taking them on vacation with me to keep my books nice and secure, and I love the pocket to keep my annotation tabs and highlighters and pens and stuff. So I hope that you guys have fun with this tutorial, and if you do recreate it, make sure to tag me on Instagram at Strong Earth Creations. One last thing before we get into the tutorial is that I have been releasing patterns on Etsy and Coffee. I think that's how you pronounce it. So far I have two patterns up there. My striped tie-back tank top pattern, which I have completely revamped and redone since 2021, and I'm very proud of how that one came out. And I've also made a written pattern for my water bottle holder tutorial here on YouTube. So if any of those interest you, make sure to check out my Etsy and Coffee. I will link them in the description below. Thank you guys so much for supporting, and let's get on to the tutorial. For materials, I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook, but you can use any yarn that matches your yarn size, scissors, a yarn needle, a book to help measure your book sleeve width, and some yarn. I'm just using acrylic medium weight yarn. Go ahead and grab the first color yarn that you want to work with, and we're going to make a slip knot. I have the book here so that we can use it as a guide to help us figure out how long to make our initial chain. Once our slip knot is done, we are going to just chain however long you need it to be to match your book size. I ended up chaining 20 for mine. I'm going width-wise for my book, but you can also go ahead and chain height-wise if that is the style of book sleeve that you want to make for yours. So this is how long mine is, and here's me showing you that you can also measure it height-wise as well. Do one more chain, and then we're going to half double crochet in the second chain from hook and half double crochet once in every single chain down. I will have a total of 20 half double crochets, but once again this will vary based on how long your initial chain is. Once you get to your last stitch, half double crochet as normal, chain one, turn your work, and we're going to continue with one row of half double crochets in every stitch. These rows are essentially going to be the width of your book. So now that I've made my two rows, I'm going to measure it on top of my book to see if it fits. And I'm sorry the angle is kind of bad, but I'm noticing that I think I need one more row of half double crochets to fit the width. So chain one once again, turn your work, and half double crochet all the way down. And you can do as many rows of this as you need for the width of your book. Now that we have the width, we're now going to work on the actual sleeve. So since I have 3 rows, I'm going to be making one half double crochet in each row down the side of the rows. So I did chain one to start, and then I'm doing one half double crochet on the side in my first row, one in the second row, and one in the third row. These don't need to be very precise. There's not really an exact place to put them, as long as you have the correct number to match your amount of rows. Now we're going to half double crochet onto the bottom of your chain. So one in every single stitch. Once again, you should have the same number of stitches as your initial chain. So for me that was 20, and I do like to sew over my ends as I go, so that's what you see me doing here. Same as the start of the row, we're going to do those half double crochets in the side of our rows. So I had 3 rows, I will be having 3 half double crochets on the side. Continue doing half double crochets all the way down until you reach your last stitch right before the chain one. To finish off every row, you're going to be slip stitching into your first stitch, chaining 1, and turning your work. This is how every single row will start, and you will continue doing half double crochets in each stitch. Once again, just showing you to finish your row, you'll be slip stitching into your first stitch, chaining 1, and turning your work. You will see it start to take a round type of shape, and that's how you know you're doing a good job. Keep half double crocheting all the way around, and the next time you'll see me, I'll be showing you how to do a color change. So if you want to change your color, you will be doing your last stitch halfway. So you're going to stop right there before yarning over and finishing your stitch. Cut your yarn, grab your new color yarn, and attach it by finishing that stitch. So looping it onto your hook and pulling it through any loops to finish the stitch. Then you'll continue as normal with your new yarn color by slip stitching, and here I'm showing you that I sew over my ends as I go, but slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and continue with your half double crochets as normal. Here's me showing you how to color change one more time. You're going to yarn over, insert your hook into your last stitch, yarn over, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Cut your yarn, grab your new color, loop it onto your hook, and then pull through all 3 loops. Slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and continue doing as many rows of this as you need for the height of your book. On your last row, only work stitches until halfway across the row, and then we're going to chain to make a loop for the button. I'm pretty sure I chained around 20 for mine. It just needs to be long enough to fit over a button when you fold it over your book sleeve. To finish the row, half double crochet into the next stitch, and do your regular half double crochets all the way across the row. To finish off, slip stitch into your first stitch, chain 1, and cut your yarn. Sew in this end, and this is the base of your book sleeve all done. Find a button that matches your book sleeve, and then we're going to sew it on. I like to use the yarn that I use to crochet it with and a yarn needle, so I just like to make sure that my smallest yarn needle can fit through the holes of the button, and then you're going to place the button directly where you need it to be to match with the loop. Cut a long piece of yarn, and then coming from the inside, we are going to begin sewing the button onto the book sleeve as normal, just by going through each loop of the button, and I like to make sure that I go through it a few times. Once you finish sewing your button, you're just going to tie your yarn into a double knot and then sew in any ends that you may have. If you don't want to make a pocket, you can stop right here and your book sleeve is completely done. You just use the loop to close it up by putting it over the button, and that is a completed book sleeve for all intents and purposes. But in case you want to make a pocket, here are the directions on how to make a solid granny square. There are also a lot of videos on YouTube on how to make a solid granny square, so that's why I didn't show it in depth, but that's just what I chose to make for my pocket. But you can make any pocket that you would like. Be creative. Sewing on a pocket is also really easy. You're just going to cut a long piece of yarn, loop it onto your yarn needle, and then starting from the inside, you're going to sew along each side of the pocket except for the top. You're going to want to leave that open. And starting from the corner, you're just going to pull through and then go through each stitch, going back and forth between going in and then coming out, going in and coming out. Here's me finishing up my last stitch, and you're just going to tie those pieces of yarn into a knot and then sew in your ends. But that is your pocket all completed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you had a great time with this tutorial. I hope it was easy to follow. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!